Hi, everybody. Welcome. Let me know if you can hear me okay because I am streaming on YouTube and Instagram at the same time. And let's be honest, I'm a middle-aged millennial, so I don't know what I'm doing. So please let me know if you can see and hear everything okay as I toggle between both platforms. So I appreciate your patience, and just yell at me. I don't have anybody on the stream with me today like I normally do. I usually will have a guest. So if something messes up, it's all on me. um, well, it's been a while since I've done a live, and unfortunately, it has to be about the topic that we're going to discuss today. But even though it's a heavy, very, very, very heavy topic, it's one of those things that we have to talk about. We can't just ignore, we can't just stay quiet about because it continues to keep happening. And so it's really on us to have those uncomfortable conversations. And that's why I'm here. Not that I've ever talked about anything on my channel that's super lighthearted, right? But here we are. Hey, oh, Pilly Lamb over on YouTube. Good to see you. Thanks for hopping in the chat. What's up, Instagram? Where's my Instagram people at? I see you guys. Oh, actually, there's more people on Instagram right now than YouTube. That's what's up. How are you guys doing today? It's good to see some familiar faces, a lot of new names, a lot of new faces, so that's exciting. Let me know, hop in the chat anytime, of course, during the stream. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you have anything to add to it, any questions, commentary, things like that. But of course, definitely ask that you stay respectful of the family. We're not going to tolerate anything that's mean or negative towards the family, of course. But yeah, let's get into it. If you jump in the middle of this conversation and you miss any part of it, it will be on YouTube afterwards. It doesn't live forever on Instagram, but it will live forever on YouTube. So you can go over there and watch it later. Still definitely important. Yeah, and like Pilly said, please be sure to, hit the thumbs up. It wouldn't hurt my feelings at all. And it lets the algorithm know that this is the type of content you want to keep seeing, or you feel, you find to be valuable or important. So I appreciate that. All right. I guess let's jump into it. So as it said in the intro, Sonya Massey was a 36-year-old mom of two teenagers, same age as me, and it's teenagers the same age, and she was shot and killed in her home on July 6th. And I know a lot of people haven't even heard about this case or didn't hear about it until really recently, like this week, even though it happened weeks ago. And this happened in Springfield, Illinois, for context, in case anyone's curious. So here's how it played out. Let me preface it with this. There is body cam footage out, and I plan on showing some of that. I will not be showing the actual moment that what happened, and you guys know what I'm talking about. Out of respect for Sonya, out of respect for her family, and also I know a lot of people on my channel are very sensitive to things like that, to violence and to all kinds of trauma. And so I think it's best to protect all of you guys the same as myself. It's out there if you want to look for it. Would not recommend. So yes. So let me make sure I'm not missing any questions here before I jump along any further. Like I said, I appreciate your patience as I toggle between all of these different platforms because I'm old and I am slow. Okay. So Sonya was also suffering from the late stages, like stage 3 of lupus. So she already wasn't doing very well physically. She was only like 105 pounds. She was like 5'1". So just to show you a picture of what kind of person Sonya was and what the officers encountered when they went to her house. So in the early hours of July 6th, Sonya called the police, called 911, and asked for help because she believed that there was an intruder on the outside of her house, like lurking in her car or trying to get into her home. So officers responded, 2 officers responded, and one was this, I'll censor myself for now. One was this former deputy named Sean Grayson. The other deputy has not been named by law enforcement, but your girl did some digging. I did some sleuthing, and I found out who it is. I don't know if I should say who it is because they haven't, released it publicly, but maybe I should just say alleged. Does that protect me from anything? Okay. The other deputy allegedly was a guy named Dawson Farley, who was a rookie. So he had been at the department less than a year. So you have Sean Grayson and Dawson Farley who show up to Sonia's house. They walk around the perimeter, they check everything, don't find anything, so they knock on her door. At this point, there's no reason for them to come inside of her home. All she's asking for is a check to make sure nothing's outside of her home. Immediately, Sean Grayson is aggressive with her and very, very short and just flat out rude to her from the jump. He, like, when she comes to the door, he's like, well, what took you so long to come to the door? He's just very accusational, literally from the jump. He's just aggravated and pissed off at her for no reason. He should be doing his job, and that's why he's there. But, I guess it was really putting him out. So then he makes a snide comment about her mental health. It wasn't an actual well-being check. He wasn't actually concerned about her mental health. Let me be clear. She was still wearing a wristband on her wrist because she had just been discharged from the hospital. But his first question to her is about her mental health. I think it's very important. What are you guys doing on IG? Because someone said you need a mod on IG, and that makes me think y'all are acting up over there, and that's going to piss me off. This happened on July 6th of this year. So to answer that question, yeah, she did not throw the water, and we'll get there. I'm over on YouTube. That's my main platform anyway. So if you guys hop over there, you can go to my link tree in my bio and hop over to YouTube to miss all the bullshit on Instagram, because sometimes people like to act up on Instagram. Anyway, so Sonia's first words to the deputies are, I love you guys. Thank you guys. Or I love y'all. Thank y'all. That's her first words to them. I love y'all. Thank y'all. It's very unfortunate because her second thing that she said to them is, please don't hurt me. And we'll get to that, why I believe that she said that, because she's not the first one in her family to have been murdered by police in their own home. Yeah. And we'll get to that. But, she was already clearly concerned about her safety, and for good reason. Again, she's frail, she's sickly, she's late stages of lupus. And so the officers come inside the house. They start asking for her ID. There's no reason for that. They don't need her ID. They shouldn't even be inside her house. But the conversation's going relatively neutral at that point. And Sonia's boiling water on the stove. You can see a mop bucket on the floor. So clearly to me and to a lot of us who viewed the footage, it looks like she was getting ready to just clean the house that evening when everything happened. So she has water boiling on the stove. Sean Grayson tells her to go get the water from the stove because they, quote unquote, don't need a fire while they're there. And so Sonia does what she's told. She goes over there and grabs a pot of water and moves it to another counter. And the officer starts backing up. Like, he tells her to go get the water. She gets the water. Then he starts backing up. Mind you, there's like a huge counter in between them. There's no threat. She's clearly not a threat. She's tiny. She's frail. Then he starts acting like she's going to attack him with the hot water. At no point does it look like that's about to happen at any point. So he starts telling her, like, to put the water down, even though he just told her to pick it up. So she puts it down, she puts her hands in the air and says, I'm sorry. He draws his motherfucking weapon. before I get there, when he starts backing up and acts like she's going to throw the hot water on them, she says, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." And there's speculation on whether she was saying that as a joke or whether that was her like discernment or intuition, knowing that this man is evil, because he clearly is. But she said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." And he said, and I quote, "Do that and I will shoot you in the fucking face." And then within seconds, he shot her in the fucking face 3 times. She had put the water down. She did not throw the water at him. She had already put it down. When she ducked down with her hands up saying, "I'm sorry," she did not have that water on her at all. And he just keeps walking towards her, and then he shoots her 3 times for literally no reason. Um, within 10 minutes, deputies arrived at 1:07 a.m., and at 1:17 is when they phoned in that the female had a gunshot wound. So after he shoots her, the other deputy that was there, mind you, like I said at the beginning, he was a rookie. He had like a year of experience here. And he goes over there to administer aid to Sonya, who's lying on the ground in her kitchen. And Sean Grayson tells him, "No, don't worry about it, because that was a quote unquote fucking headshot." So yeah, he told his partner not to render aid, although they're supposed to render aid, even if that's protocol, even if they've just taken somebody down with a gun, they're supposed to render aid. He didn't go for his taser. He didn't try to de-escalate the situation, which again, there wasn't really a situation to de-escalate. He immediately went for his gun. He immediately started trying to rewrite that narrative from the jump, making it seem like she was being aggressive. He should be trained. He is trained. He's had classes on what to do for mental health checks, how to de-escalate. He, in theory, has all the training and the tools to know what to do in this situation. And still, he could not fucking wait to draw his weapon and kill Sonya Massey. He couldn't wait. He hunted her and executed her, period. Point blank, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's exactly what took place here. Thank you, guys. I just I'm looking at some comments. So I was on a rant telling you guys that, and so now let me go check some comments. Good to see you guys over on Instagram. I appreciate you guys. So yes, thank you for liking the live. I appreciate that. It definitely helps comments as well. So his backup partner, allegedly, Dawson Farley, is administering aid. They call it into dispatch. You can hear in the 911 call, or not the 911 call, the dispatch call where they radioed in for backup and things like that. Someone, not sure who, one of them, either Sean or Dawson, say that it is a confirmed self-inflicted gunshot wound. The fuck? The fuck? It's also important to note, I did put this in the beginning, but let me reiterate, Sean Grayson purposely had his body cam footage off the whole time until after he had murdered Miss Sonia. I looked into their protocol. It is required in the state of Illinois for officers to keep their body cam on during calls unless a victim asks them to turn it off, which she did not. Luckily, his partner had his body cam on the entire time and caught the entire ordeal. And I'm terrified to think about what would have happened had his body cam not been on or had not been working, what the fuck ever. No doubt in my mind that this would have been swept under the rug because they tried to. Sonia Massey's dad has come out and made several statements on camera. And according to him, the family did not even know that it was an officer-involved shooting until her uncle, Sonia's uncle, saw it on the news, or read it online rather. They were told that it was an intruder. And you know what? That's not technically wrong. The intruder was a sworn officer in Springfield, Illinois, who executed her. That was the intruder. That was the threat. So, now let's talk about what happened after. So, you can also hear in the body cam footage, Sean says a couple really, really disturbing things just to show like his callousness and complete lack of humanity. He says he calls her a fucking crazy bitch after he's just murdered her for doing nothing. She did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. Calls her a fucking crazy bitch. He as his partner is giving aid, trying to stop the bleeding on Sonya while they're waiting for the ambulance. Sean does not try, and then he says, well, at least I don't have to waste my med kit. So he had no intentions of helping her. He at no point felt threatened by her. He wanted to kill Sonya Massey, period. That was it. There's no other reason. I've seen a lot of people trying to figure out like, what did he know her previously? It doesn't matter. I don't know that he did, but it doesn't matter because there are psychopaths, and Sean Grayson is one of them. He just wanted to kill someone, and he did. And he thought he could get away with it because of this department, because of the history of this department, and because of how much he has already gotten away with. Which leads me into his work history. So let me see if I can share it on the screen here. I do believe that I have I have something I can put on screen here for this. Bear with me here as I find it. Okay, so here's his work history, guys. He worked 6 different departments in 4 years. Okay, this is some of them here. Pawnee and Kincaid police departments in 1 year span. The next year, Verdon and Auburn police departments. The next year, Logan County. The next year, Sangamon County, which is where he was working when he killed Sonya. So here's a more in-depth, like date-wise. So he killed her on July 6th. If you'll notice here at the top, the very top line, they didn't fire him. They didn't terminate him until the 17th. So I guess they did their investigation, and it took them that fucking long to terminate him. And they arrested him, I believe, the same day that they terminated him. But yeah. They terminated him and arrested him on my birthday, the 17th. Glad I could contribute in that way. Not happy birthday to me, rot in hell, Sean Grayson. Okay, so he has like a crazy, I just hit my chin on that again. I always hit my chin on this stupid microphone. He has like a crazy work history. But like, why are they still hiring him? Because this motherfucker also has, he had 2 DUIs that he pled guilty to in 2015 and 2016. You can't even get a job as an Uber driver with a DUI, but they're out here handing out jobs to cops with the DUIs and giving them weapons and authority and power with 2 DUIs. And clearly he has an issue with work performance, which is why he's been let go so many times or left so many times. That part isn't clear. I'm sure that will come out with time. I also, in my my deep dive sleuthing that I do, I found out that he was engaged to be married this October. He's engaged to, or was engaged, hopefully they've broken up, if she knows what's good for her. He was engaged to another deputy's daughter. A guy named Scott Butterfield. So he has 2 daughters. One of his daughters that Sean was engaged to as a nurse practitioner in the same town, and her practice was literally a couple blocks from Sonia's house. Little sus. I've seen things online that said that Sean's fiance worked at a psych ward where Sonia had been admitted. I don't know that that's true. I could not validate that by any means. Um, but we know how small towns work anyway, and it's just a little weird that they would be in that close proximity to each other. Again, I don't know if there's any truth to that or if they knew each other or had previous encounters, but it's just, I mean, clearly they looked past the fact of his criminal history of DUIs. Let me just see if I can find. Yeah, here's one of the screenshots from a previous DUI. What a guy. What a fucking guy. Look at this shit. Hey, thanks, Crystal. If Illinois has the death penalty, well, thankfully, someone, Jess, my girl Jess, looked it up and she said, yes, they do. They've had the death penalty. Illinois has since 2011. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, Jess, I might have confused your answer here because you said yes since 2011, but then no, Illinois has not had capital punishment since 2011. Thank you. You're the best. Thank you. I agree, Avery. Just he was hunting. Jess also says, let me show this here. Dang, Jess, your profile picture be looking fine, girl. You be looking fine. Yes. You went to cosmetology school for 1,450 hours, yet he went to the police academy for short 6 months. And I bet you could de-escalate situations a hell of a lot faster than he could. What do you want to bet? Clearly. What a guy. So then let's look at this. He was also discharged from the Army for serious misconduct. Are we fucking surprised? Are we surprised? That is concerning because I also let me check my notes here on this so I don't tell you guys wrong. Thank you, Crystal. So he was in the Army for like 6 or 7 years, but he still left with the rank of private. How bad do you have to suck? Like, deadass, how bad do you have to suck to be in the Army that long, be released as a private, and be discharged for serious misconduct? If anyone knows what types of things would fall under serious misconduct according to like Army standards, let a sister know. I gotta know. Let me check some of these comments over here on Instagram. Thank you guys for being here. Bridget over on Instagram says he's instructing her to drop the big pot of boiling water. It would have just injured her very badly if she did what he said without caution. Yeah. Yep. I think I said some of these things that you guys have already said. So thank you guys for hopping in the comments and giving this information to people as well. I appreciate that. Please continue to do that because I can't get to all these comments and check everything. Yes. Someone said salmon. Is that what it says? Salem Redhead said the rookie guy was very traumatized by this. The footage shows him breaking down later. He tried to help. I did see that as well. You can just see in the footage, he's like literally shaking, and he's like in the trunk of his car, like just shaking and wiping like blood off of his hands, Sonia's blood, because he was trying to give her aid. It's just like truly, truly freaking really, really heartbreaking. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I mentioned this a second ago. Someone else said, I saw somewhere that he had worked at the hospital where she was diagnosed with mental illness. So, Yeah, someone else mentioned in qualified immunity and a database for bad cops so they never get hired again. Completely agree, because this law enforcement agency admitted that they knew about his DUIs and his criminal background before they hired him. So clearly there's some like nepotism, like bullshit political shit going on in this department. Because he still got a job. Because he's dating someone else's daughter who works there. Just complete bullshit. Not the type of people that we want serving and protecting us, quote unquote. Let me toggle through here. Thank you for your patience, guys. I'm doing my best. Excuse me. The White House did come out, and I don't know why that's in front of my face. So I'm sorry about that. But the White House did come out and say that they made this statement. Let my hand do the talking here. Excuse me. And calling on Congress to pass the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act. Will that happen? Who knows? Who fucking knows? Because how many people? Sonia's not the only one that this has happened to, obviously, and unfortunately, she won't be the last. How many people does this have to happen to? How many Black people? How many people of color in general does this have to happen to before something is done? Before some change is made? You guys can look that up if you want to see the full statement longer and read the whole thing. So Jess, my little researcher, my girl, she looked up for me what is considered like a serious offense or whatever for him to be discharged. It says their contact exhibits a pattern of minor military disciplinary infractions. That's a mouthful. That's what she said. The soldier's conduct exhibits a pattern of discreditable involvement with civilian. Hey, Lissa. One of my OG Patreon ladies. You guys can join me over on Patreon too. It'd be awesome. You can be a free member even if you want. You don't have to pay me anything. But I post some other good shit over there that I don't post anywhere else. Good to see you guys. Or the soldier commits a serious act or a single act of serious misconduct. Either way, well, correct. Makes you wonder who ignored his mental health progress report. I gotta take a drink. My mouth is getting dry. Oh yeah. Okay. Getting a little toasty in here. I was like freezing before. Okay. So let me check my notes here. What else have I missed up until this point? If I've missed anything up until this point, let me know. We still have some more to go, but just let me know if I've missed anything. Jess, I'm going to put your stuff up here so people can read that. Yeah. Sean also in the body cam footage, before I'm checking my notes here so I don't miss certain things that I think are important. Some other things that he said in that body cam footage, like after the incident, he said that he, quote unquote, didn't have a choice. Bitch, what? You didn't have a choice but to shoot her for standing in her kitchen, the crime of standing in the kitchen, doing what you just told her to do. And then he said he, quote, barely got missed. By what? When you shot her, she wasn't even holding the pot. You didn't even try to taser. You didn't try to de-escalate. You just pulled your weapon. You pulled your gun as soon as you possibly could. Afterwards, he also refers to his partner as me and dipshit. I wonder why. It's also interesting to me in the footage, you can see, I feel like you can kind of feel the coldness that the other officers have towards Sean Grayson. Even when other officers responded to the scene, they're in there giving Sonya aid or trying to, as she takes her last breath. And the other officer who wasn't there when it happened, he asked Sean, like, where's the gun? Meaning, where's the gun that Sonya had? And Sean says, "Oh, it wasn't a gun. It was a pot of boiling water. She said she was going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus, and then she came at me with the water." Literally, no. No. He's I think he could feel that no one was on his side on this. He could feel that he was in deep doo-doo. I don't know if it's at that point, maybe he realized his partner had his, camera on or whatnot, but the other officers around were like, "I'm sorry, what? A water You shot her over water? That's fucking insane." Um, there's another thing here that Jess put up. Thank you, Jess. You guys can check the comments on YouTube if you want to read more in detail. Um, Avery says, "It's so easy for people to lie at intake for the Army. Nothing is checked." Good to know. Good to fucking know. Clearly. Yeah, and then afterwards in the body cam, he also says, "It is what it is. It is what it is," after just killing a woman. He's not even bothered. He's not breathing heavy. He doesn't sound stressed. In fact, he almost sounds invigorated. And I'm not being dramatic. Again, you can watch it if you choose. But then no one's really like meeting his eye line like the other officers aren't. And then he's like, "I'm just going to go chill in my car for a little bit." Okay. Have fun with that, you fucking. You're going to go chill in his car after executing a woman in her kitchen. Someone else came out and said that, or actually, I believe it was a statement from Sean's attorney or a public statement from somewhere on his side that said Sean did this because he was previously diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. I don't give a fuck. How is that an excuse to do what he did? He also, Miss Sonya was in like stage 3 of lupus. Unbelievable. Like, you're going to blame it on that? I hope it advances to stage 4 while he's in there and beyond. And I'm not sorry for saying that. I put up here on the screen a minute ago, he's what psychologists call an intraspecies predator. And that's exactly what he is. Oops, wrong comment. Mel, yeah, definitely start at the beginning because there's a lot to this story, and the intro will catch you up. And then if you want to skip forward, you can. Maybe you'll have a little bit more context, but or if you have time to watch the whole thing back. But yeah, there's a lot to this story, and I don't want you to miss it. Yeah, just save it for later. It is murder. But it's what they call an intraspecies predator because someone like him is just on the hunt. He's on the prowl for an easy target. And Miss Sonya was like literally that. She's so tiny. She's so frail. She's so harmless, genuinely harmless. She answered the door and said, "I love y'all. Thank y'all. I love y'all." Like, are you fucking kidding me? But intraspecies predators get like a hit of dopamine after during harming people. So they seek that out by any means necessary. It doesn't necessarily mean that it always leads to murder, but it did in this case. And it really makes me question what other things that he's done to hurt people. If this has ever happened before, I would be very interested to see what his history is on those other 5 police departments in the past 4 years, because I would bet money other shit has happened. Whether there's record of it, official record of it, probably not. I would be surprised. Or it's like, closed, sealed files. Yeah. Crystal said, "I had drug-induced lupus, never made you homicidal." Exactly, because you're not a psychopath like this guy. Yeah. So let me scan back over to this. Check the comments again. Thank you guys again for your patience. I'm doing my best, guys. Yes. Someone said the cops lied to Sonia's son about who killed her. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They said it was an intruder. Then they said it was self-inflicted. So fucking infuriating. Someone on Instagram commented, when the other officers asked if they had a suspect for the shooting, Sean Grayson almost proudly declared me. Yeah, he did. He like I said a minute ago, he sounded like giddy. It's insane. Like, he sounds fucking insane. Oh my God. Yeah, definitely. I guarantee you he's threatened people and pushed people around. This ain't his first rodeo in that sense. So the first thing she says is "I love you" to them, and the last thing she said was she's sorry. Oh God, the anger that is boiling inside me, I can't even imagine her poor family, the people around her, the people that loved her. But guess what? I think it's time that we talk about the other things. As promised, there's some other details about Sonia and her family history that I've not seen discussed on other major media outlets, but I think they're really important and fascinating, but not in a like it, I don't know, not in a way to sensationalize the horror of all of this, but I love patterns and finding patterns in things, and I love research. So this was, super interesting to me. So let's go back in time about 100 years, shall we? Perfect. Sonia is actually a descendant of a race riot lynching in a victim in 1908. So she's related to a guy named William Donegan, who was a shoemaker and a conductor for an underground railroad in the same town of Springfield, Illinois. And then, so during the race riot in 1908, let me just check my notes here, make sure I'm telling you guys wrong information. So during the race riot, him and his family actually asked for protection from the cops while all this was going on. They didn't get it. In fact, a white mob showed up to their house and beat the shit out of him in his own home, drug him outside, slit his throat, and hung him from a tree. He was not found until the next day, and he was still alive. Oh, I have goosebumps just talking about it. It's so horrible. He was still alive. They took him to the hospital where he succumbed to his injuries, and he did pass away. Ironically, that's the same hospital that Sonia was taken to after she was murdered. That's where she was pronounced deceased. The same exact hospital in Springfield, Illinois, just over 100 years apart. And I just think that's just like the family trauma, the family history of that is just so in depth, and goes back so far. But to just the fact that they were both killed in their own homes by white racist men, over 100 years apart, you would think that we would have progressed enough at this point in time to not to be here. And I still get in arguments with people all the time saying that racism isn't a thing in the United States anymore, that we're all equal. That is clearly not true. It didn't take this. It shouldn't have taken this for anybody to understand that that's not true. Racism is very much alive here in the United States. It is everywhere, but my experience is here in the United States. And that's what I can speak to. So it just never fails. People who say that racism is dead, you're willfully ignorance, or you're also a racist. I said what I said. Yeah. So I actually think I have a picture. Let me share a picture of William because I do believe I uploaded one. Bear with me. Bear with me here, guys. Okay, here we go. Yep. This is her ancestor that was lynched during the race riot in Springfield, Illinois in 1908. Yeah, her direct ancestor. Truly heartbreaking that's their family history and their family currently. Same predicament. And then, yeah, let me share a picture. This is Sonia's dad. I'm having some issues with my headphones, so I don't know if I'll be able to play the clip, but I definitely encourage you guys to look it up and watch the clip. He's got such a great speaking voice, great cadence, and the way that he speaks about Sonia is really heartbreaking, obviously, but his words are very, very powerful, and so I would encourage you guys to look that up and watch his, I believe it's CBS is where that interview was. Let me check these comments real quick before I get ahead of myself, guys. Thank you. Yes, Mel. Mel asked, "Is this the story of the welfare check and where the cop killed her?" Kind of. She asked for a check on her house because she believed there to be an intruder, and then they killed her. 100%, 100%. Jess, preach, girlfriend, preach. Okay, let me check Instagram real quick. This is crazy. Yes, her dad, though, exactly. The way he held himself is just insane. And there's also an interview with Sonia's son, and he's still speaking about her in present tense. Like you can, like it hasn't even sunk in. It's really, God, it's really heartbreaking. Look that up. Look that up as well. He's pretty much the same age as my son, and I'm just like, I can't fucking imagine. Okay, so that's one of them. You would think one would be enough. It's already fucking tragic that it happened to Sonia's ancestor. Sonia's cousin, Sonia's 4-year-old cousin, was murdered in his home by police in March 16th of this year. So let's get into that. Let me pull it up on the fucking screen. Hang on. Yeah, Sonia's, as I was just saying here. So you guys can read that here for a second. So this police officer, in sources it says this unnamed police officer, but I found his name. His name is Nick Gock, G-O-C. Nick Gock was the superior on scene at during this event that Sonia's 4-year-old cousin was murdered. And he's the one who called the shots, no pun intended. And he's the one who got her little cousin, Terrell Miller, killed. So let's get into that. So on March 16th of this year, Sonia's cousin, Terrell's mom, her name is Kiana. She was in her home with Terrell, 4-year-old Terrell, and her ex-boyfriend was extremely intoxicated and strong-armed his way into Kiana and Terrell's house. Trigger warning. He said if he couldn't have her, no one could, and then proceeded to SA her, sticking a knife in her back for hours. When Kiana was finally able to call the police, they took their time getting there and then stood outside of the residence for over 10 minutes before attempting to make entry into the home. When they did make entry, they found Kiana on the floor in a puddle of her own blood. And she's literally screaming at them, help my baby, help my baby. And they turn the gun on her as if she's the perpetrator here. They don't take down the guy standing over there with the knife, a bloody knife in his hand. Even worse, the guy with a bloody knife in his hand is able to go to the bedroom and pick up 4-year-old Terrell and bring him back out there. So let me see, his name is Anthony George, the guy who did this to Kiana and Terrell, her ex. He goes into the other bedroom while the police are in there on scene in the room. He's able to go into the other bedroom and retrieve Terrell and bring him back into the main room with a knife to his throat and to his stomach, to the baby. And as soon as he comes back into the room, this motherfucker, Nick Gawk, shoots through Terrell, killing both of them, Anthony and Terrell, instantly. Did not try to help the child, did not try to remove the child, did not try to de-escalate the situation, did not try to only hit Anthony, tase him, anything. Shot through that 4-year-old baby in front of his mother, who's lying on the floor, and killed him. Nick Gawk also did not attempt to give aid to Terrell after that happened, just like Grayson did not attempt to give aid to Sonya after he killed her or shot her. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Now, let me clarify, this is not at the same department. It is in the same state. This was in Macomb, Illinois, where Terrell was killed. So I believe I read that this is like 80 or 90 miles apart from each other, but still in the same state. And this is like so crazy to me. So as if that's not fucking enough. Kiana wakes up in the hospital and had 27 incisions from this knife, right? And then they tell her like, oh, your baby didn't make it. Our bad. Nick Gawk did not get prosecuted. He did not get charged. He was found to be in no fault after they did their investigation. So yeah, he's still out there serving and harming, not protecting people right now. And another really fucking wild thing to me about this whole thing with Terrell is that years ago, like I think 3 years ago or something, there's a video. I have the video. Again, I don't know if my headphones are going to work. Yeah, no. But yeah, there's a video of Kiana. I believe she was at a George Floyd protest, like maybe like 3 years ago. And there's video of her with Terrell, like 1-year-old baby Terrell in the stroller. And she's talking about how the cops in Macomb, particular cops in Macomb, have been literally harassing her for years. And that she gave an example of while she was pregnant with Terrell, the cops were like harassing her and like asking her if she was going to go rob something. I don't know, just being dicks. And she was like, no, I just got like, just had a doctor's appointment. I'm pregnant right now or something. And the officer said, are you having a boy or a girl? And she said, boy. And he started laughing and said, I can't wait to arrest your son while she's still pregnant with him. If that's not blatant racism, come on. She also has said for years, and maybe even in that video, I don't want to misquote her, but she even has said like she's worried and she's had like visions about the police storming her house and killing her son. Even years ago, she was so afraid that the police were going to kill her son, and they did. I'm sure she never thought it would happen when he was 4 years old. It's just insane. I know the officer that was harassing her is Officer Mays. I haven't had a chance to go down like a deep, dark rabbit trail on that motherfucker. Gonna lose it. Yeah, Terrell Miller. They really tried to sweep that one under the rug too. They really fucking did. Which is all the more reason why we have to keep talking about it. They also announced the day after Sonia's body cam footage was released, which I believe was Monday, this past Monday. The next day is when they released the statement that Nick Gawk was not going to be charged or held responsible for Terrell's death. Real fucking suspicious. Real fucking suspicious. I don't know who's training or not training these incompetent motherfuckers. This is unexcusable. It's absolutely unexcusable. I also saw that because, like I mentioned earlier, Sean Grayson killed Sonya on July 6th. He was not arrested or terminated until July 17th. So we had a comfortable 2 weeks there. And the day after he shot her, the department made him take a refresher class on how to respond to mental health checks or people with like psych histories or well-being checks and SA victims. That's what it was. It was like mental health and SA victims, how to respond to those calls. He had to take a refresher course the day after murdering a woman. A lot of good that did. A lot of good that did. They ignored all the fucking warning signs, so it wouldn't have done any good anyway. It wasn't like he didn't know what to do. He knew what to do and chose not to do every single thing that he should have and could have possibly done. He skipped every logical humanity-based step and just went straight to murder because, again, he was hunting a Black woman. How else do you want me to say it? That's exactly what happened. Shot her point blank in the face 3 times. Yeah. I would be I just know there has to be something more to his history. I will definitely keep up with this story and be doing updates along the way because there's no way in hell this is the first time this motherfucker has done anything. So he's sitting in jail right now. A couple upcoming dates for you guys to remember if you're interested in keeping up with this. First and foremost, and most important, it will be a protest in Macomb, Illinois this Monday, July 29th from 11 to 1 p.m. I believe it's in Macomb, but I believe it's a protest for Sonia, even though it's in the same town that Terrell was killed by police. So I'm sure it's probably a joint protest. So if you are in the area or can make it to the area, I think any presence, as many voices as possible, please go. Or whatever we can do online from a distance, I think absolutely we should do. And then let me see where I wrote this down. Thank you, Jess, for putting that down on the screen. I don't know if you put that before me or after me, but the timing is impeccable. Absolutely impeccable. Okay. Let me find this other date here, you guys. I know I wrote it down where I put it. I'm looking for, if you guys know, because I don't know where I put the fucking date, but his next court date. I know it's in August. I want to say it's at the beginning of August. 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, somewhere in there. I thought I wrote it down, but I guess who the fuck knows? I don't know where it's at. But yeah, if one of y'all can look it up. Jess, you're probably already on it. It's pretty fucking crazy. I also found another note that I read and wrote down is that this Sean Grayson had an 8th grade education. This is his resume, guys. An 8th grade education, fired from 6 departments in 4 years, and was in the Army for 6 years, but left, as we know, under not great conditions with having the rank of private still. Real fucking sus. Real fucking sus on that one, guys. Also, worth noting, and I think it's important that we make it political because Trump, there's video footage of him saying previously one of the things related to Project 2025 is he wants to give cops and law enforcement immunity for shit like this. Not that they're clearly clearly they're getting some pretty fucking good immunity already, but he wants to make it across the board. Can you fucking imagine? Can you fucking imagine how much worse it will get if he's elected? We can't do that. We can't let that happen. This affects everybody, no matter your color or your race or your political belief or religious belief. Like if everything within Project 2025 affects you or someone you know, someone you love, it's unexcusable. We cannot let it happen. Period. Fucking insane. What else did I miss, guys? What else? I want to say that's it. I have some videos here. What I think I'm going to do, because again, I'm really hesitant to share some of this more sensitive footage on here. Number one, I get my shit taken down by every single platform, almost every video I post. So can't pay my bills that way. But also because I am very protective of you guys and sensitive to the fact that a lot of you have your own trauma and your own history and triggers, and these things are very upsetting to watch, and not everyone wants to watch them. And so I don't want to just throw them on here and fuck your nights up too. So please stay educated on all of this. Go look it up. But what I'll do instead, what I prefer to do anyway, is I will create a Google Doc with all the links, make it public, and then I'll just post it. I'll go back and post it in the description of this YouTube video. So yeah, you can go watch it there. If you are watching on Instagram, YouTube is my main platform. This is where you can watch back. This whole video is on YouTube. You won't be able to do that on Instagram. And to stay updated on this story, just go to YouTube, because that's where I pretty much do most of my content, long form content and stuff like that. So I will be doing updates on that. I'll be doing a Ruby Frankie update soon. There's so much shit. I'm like, there's so many stories to cover. All of them are so important, and just they weigh on me. I know they weigh on y'all. It's hard to choose what to even talk about and what to cover, because I feel like this responsibility to do so much research on every single one, because I want to get the facts straight. I want to get their stories told and not always focus. I don't want the emphasis to always be on the shitbags who are pulling this fucking stunts, you know? I think we have to bring down those systems, but also respect the victims and tell the victim stories as well. And so it takes a lot of time and research. So I appreciate your patience. I don't post as often as I want to, or what I plan to in the near future, but I'm doing all of this myself from start to finish, from researching, verifying, writing, verifying, filming, editing, literally everything from start to finish I'm doing. And it's a lot of time, and it zaps me. So I'm sorry I'm not able to do deep dives into everything that deserves it, but I'm only one person, and I really am doing my best. And you guys, I have a new setup here. It's not completely done. This is my first time filming in this spot, but my wonderful boyfriend, Dustin Pointer, guys, Camp Green Flag, the red flag, green flag guy, that's my boyfriend. He bought me a brand new filming setup for my birthday last week, and it is phenomenal. And I'm super excited to get everything put up and make this like super cute back here. So thank you again for your patience. Yes. Thank you, Jen. Thank you. Thanks again. Oh yeah, Alyssa, thank you so much for mentioning Patreon. Yes, you guys can support. If you guys do want to support the channel, it's always awkward for me to mention. Like I want to just like crawl down in my chair when I mention this, but if you want to support the work that I do and support Culture Shock and the channel in any way, there's a couple things you can do. The best ways are probably Patreon, or, buying some merch. Kendra Lee Brun, sonya.com. Or if you don't have the finances, life is fucking hard right now. You can still join as a free member on Patreon and still get, looks at other things that other people don't. Can submit your own stories if there's something you want me to cover. I have a Google form for that as well that's linked, and I'll go back and link it in this video description on YouTube. Enable notifications, commenting, sharing. All of that is super helpful, even if it's not monetary based. It's not even about me. It's about, I just have a big loud mouth to share some of these stories. Okay. Am I the best person for the job? No. Am I the most qualified? Probably not. My qualifications are I'm also traumatized and I have a loud mouth. And so, yeah. But if you guys think of anything, come back later. If you watch this, later, then please feel free to comment and chime in, and you can read the comments back. Lissa, thank you. Thank you for that super chat, $10 super chat. That's so kind of you. I love you. And I'm like embarrassed, but like sheepish. That's so nice. Thank you so much for your support. It seriously means everything to me. So I appreciate you guys. Yeah, I guess I'll see you guys over on Patreon. If you guys have come across anything else that I've missed, shoot me a message, shoot me an email. Email is usually the best way. KendraLeeBryan@gmail. Everything's in my bio. Linktree's in my bio to YouTube. Yeah, everything's going to be in my Linktree anyway. So yeah, I will see you guys over there. Okay, love you guys. Bye.